Tigers sitting at 7-2 in the Ivy League, and we are indeed underway on this Sunday afternoon in Providence, and it starts with a kill for the Brown Bears and a really good start for this team looking to make a push.
Well, I think for Brown, it's the service pressure they need to apply to Princeton as they've been struggling a little bit in their serve-receive game.
Gabby Derrick back to serve. Had 2 blocks and 2 digs in the win over Penn on Friday. Here's a quick set to the middle of the floor. Lucia Scalamandre with the kill. She had 12 on Friday night, just 1 error on 18 swings. Scalamandre back to serve now. Junior out of Topanga, California, Oaks Christian High School. 2-time first-team All-Ivy League honoree sends it away. On the right side, slowed down by the block there of Cam Chaney. Here's Chaney on the attack, her first swing of the match, dug up in the back row. Couple of good blocks here up front for Princeton, and a middle-of-the-floor swing goes wide for Bo Vanderlaan.
You can expect Brown to get Bo Vanderlaan going early. They want to set the tone in the middle, hold the Princeton block to open up that outside pin.
On the far side, and tooling the block there is Masha Sidorova. You mentioned her, leading the team in kills with 231 on the year now. Second on the team with 14 in the win over Penn on Friday night.
And she's another player who's staying on the court, 6 rotations, passing a lot of balls in serve receive. Teams targeting her as they want to slow her down offensively.
And Sydney Draper trying to touch it to the back corner, but in transition, it's Vanderlaan ending it with a kill. 6 matches with 10 or more kills this year has been a go-to option out of the middle.
Yeah, it's really nice when you have that balanced attack. They have strong pin hitters, as we mentioned in the top of the show, and then to get these middle blockers going, really get the distribution balanced here for the Brown offense.
Out of system swing for Chaney. It's handled in the back by Jesse Golden. Draper pushes one to Chaney, and it's just shoved down by Vanderlaan. And here come the Brown Bears. Might have had a whistle there. Might have been a net violation. Gives the point to Princeton. Vanderlaan shot touched right back. Sidorova with a roll shot and a nice up in the back row from Princeton. Free ball coming here for the Bears. They'll go to Sidorova again, who tools the block. And Brown back in front, 4-3.
Well, Sidorova has the hot hands for Brown with her offense throughout the season, and Princeton knows they've got to put up a solid 2 block and get 4 hands in front of her to try to slow her down, but that's the experience of tooling that block for a point.
Sidorova's serve. And a big swing there from Chaney, floats long. And now Brown up by 2. Both of these teams have had to deal with some injury concerns, so you will likely see some newer faces in this match on both sides. Spoke with both coaches, and this one dumped into the campfire there by Sydney Draper for a point. But both sides have had to contend with the injuries this year. It hasn't been just for Princeton or just for Brown. Coach King and Coach Virtue having to shift some pieces around, Nicole, here in the latter half of the season.
Yeah, and it's that time of season. It's a long year, and, players are getting tired or little nagging injuries. You really have to know how to balance that. And as they both mentioned, it's tough because even though a player might play on the weekends, they didn't necessarily play for a few practices before because they were resting kind of a nagging injury or whatever it was. So hard to get in that practice rhythm and really, make some of those improvements that happen during that time.
After an ace, a service error from Chaney. She's got 29 service aces on the year, which leads this team. Gives it right back to Brown. This Brown team got out to a tough start in Ivy League play. They dropped their first 3 matches. suffering 3 straight sweeps to Yale, Princeton, and Penn before picking up their first league win against Columbia. On the right side now, it's dug up by Brown. And now finally falls out. Kill will go to Valerie Nudicor, the junior outside hitter from Forsyth, Illinois.
Well, I expect to see a lot of rallies here today. Brown leading the Ivy League in digs, so they are definitely getting their fair share of opportunities and have players chasing everything down.
Sydney Bold, coming off a breakout freshman year, ranked second in the Ivy League in digs last season, has continued her excellent play this year, and it's with a block on the far side from Kayla Griebel. Katy, Texas native, has really come on strong over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, she has done a nice job. Again, you've got 2 blocks on that outside pin. As we said, Princeton knows they've got some strong weapons at the pins, trying to slow them down, but Brown doing an excellent job tooling the block.
Out of the middle, Scalamandre again. Coach Sabrina King was telling us she really likes to get that middle of the floor going early and often, and Scalamandre has been a huge part of that. Right back at it again this year, ranking 4th in the league in hit percentage.
Yeah, Coach said just offensively, defensively, really everything coming together. Has been working a lot with Sydney Draper, their setter, on their connection in the middle, because those quick sets, you really got to have it down with that setter to get that connection going.
Connection working early for Kayla Griebel. Earned her first career Ivy League Player of the Week award 2 weeks ago for her efforts in the wins over Harvard and Dartmouth. Put up a career-high 21 kills in that 4-set win over Dartmouth. And Nudicor, a little bit of a roll shot there, finding the floor. Back and forth we go here in the opening set, 8-8, all square.
Well, I love how Nudicor came in hard on the approach, looking like she was going to crank it as hard as she could, which got that defense back on their heels a little bit, opening up that soft roll shot over the block.
Nudicor 2 kills here in this first set. Kakis to the far side. Sidorova with 4 kills here in the first.
Off to a strong start for Sidorova, and as you could see on that one, she really elevates and gets up, hits that down at a very sharp angle.
5 straight matches for Sidorova in double figures in the kill department. Like you said, 6 rotation players. She's got 3 straight double-doubles as well. Off to a real good start here on the road. Draper tees up Scalamandre, and a little miscommunication, maybe out of placement there defensively for Brown.
Yeah, well, Princeton's doing a nice job with that short over the double block. Brown defense a little bit deeper, and so they're not able to get that one, and it's wide open. So they're going to need to make an adjustment if Princeton keeps that up.
Julia Kakis tries the right side this time, and a line shot is good for Hannah Flannery. She had 9 kills on 22 swings on Friday night against Penn.
Yeah, she's been doing an excellent job on that opposite right-hand side of the court for Brown. Really going after it, earning some points for this team, another piece to their offense.
Ella Park serves it away, and it goes long. Park started the year as a setter for this Brown team. We were told by Coach Virtue she actually sustained an injury at the start of the year before league play started, concussion, which actually led to Julia Kakis taking over the setter spot. But Park has been an integral part in the back row for the Bears since her return. Kakis there going back on the out-of-system ball. Sidorova, and a nice up by Sydney Bold. In transition now, poked to the back corner, read well by Golden. Now Sidorova on the attack, misses the deep corner. Just a bit long. Both teams hitting over 400 here in this first set. See who can get that block going early, and a service error from Draper into the net. Couple of errors in the opening set for Princeton.
Serving for the Bears, number 11, Masha Sidorova.
Here is Masha Sidorova. Just about 3.5 kills per set. Also great behind the service line, and it won't go down as an ace, but the overpass is cleaned up by Vanderlaan.
Well, that looks even like it might have been going a little bit long, but very close to the line. So Princeton have to make a tough decision. Beautiful serve, pushing them back deep, creates that over on one.
And a service error of their own gives it back to Princeton. All tied 12-12. Just getting underway here inside the Pizzatola Sports Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Ivy League matchup between Princeton and Brown, the second of the year. First one was controlled by Princeton, and a big part of that was because of the service game. And you're already seeing Cam Chaney serve really tough to the Bears.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing Coach said. Look, we got to bring the pressure. They have a good offense. They have many different players they can set, so you have to bring the service pressure from the line and try to disrupt Brown's offensive rhythm.
Griebel way off the net. That's Chaney with a dig in the back row. Chaney has to throw a free ball over. First contact by Bold. Kakis to the middle of the floor. The block was set up perfectly by Princeton. They'll try Griebel on the outside and got some touch off that block. Might have gone into the pin, though, so Princeton with the point, 14-12.
Yeah, Griebel trying to slither that one on the line, but Princeton did a nice job shutting the line down. Just not enough room to sneak it by.
And just long.
I don't mind that error on the serve. You know, the in the nets are the one that drive the coaches crazy, but that one just barely out as she got a few back-to-back strong, deep serves on Brown, and that one barely missing.
2 aces and 2 service errors for Chaney. Draper out of system, back row swing from Chaney, cleaned up. Kakis will try Griebel again. Little miscommunication there. Good chance coming here on the right side, and it's down for a kill. Ava Harrington getting in on the scorecard in the first set, and Princeton first to 15 here in the opener, 15-13. But it has been back and forth since 2021, 4-4 on both sides. Princeton leads the overall series 58-21. We are here in the first set. Nicole Branna, Sam Ravitch, our wonderful ESPN crew working with you on this Sunday afternoon. Tigers with a 2-point lead. They're first to 15. And just out of the media timeout, they'll send it away. Kakis will try Griebel again. It's slowed down by the block. Kakis had to be there to cover. And Griebel just touches it off the block. A really smart play. She had no shot there. Able to make something out of nothing, Nicole.
Well, that was impressive. You know, that set wasn't so great to her on the outside. She gets off the net, comes in quickly, and you know what? That is a veteran decision. She's a senior. She's been out here, as I mentioned, a big piece of this program the last 4 years, and that just shows how smart a player she is.
Scalamandre, no block set up against her.
Yeah, Scalamandre, coach said her confidence has been high. She's been playing really well. They rely on her a lot. And Brown does not want her to get going, because then you've got to deal with her and Cameron Chaney on the outside pin.
16-14 as the opposite is put down by Flannery, and it goes out. And Princeton will be out to their largest lead here of the first set, and a timeout for Coach Taylor Virtue. We will step aside as they talk things over in the Brown huddle.
Aces, we've already seen a couple from her tonight. I don't expect her to be slow all night, but if she's not hitting her usual right now, one thing she does is does well in the other areas. As I said, produced a couple aces, passing well. So it'll come around, that hit. I have no doubt.
Nudicor gets into one, kept up by the Bears. Here's Griebel in transition, and Kayla Griebel tacks on another kill. She has got 4 in the opening set and keeps Brown within 2.
Well, she's just keeping that flow going from Friday night against Penn, where she had a huge night with 15 kills. Helping Brown get a big win as they try to get in the top 4.
Galamandre, that's a nice slide teed up by Draper.
Well, Coach Sabrina King said their connection is getting stronger and stronger. And so far from what we've seen in front of the setter and in back, that connection is flowing today.
Cindy Draper, the setter for Princeton, reigning Ivy League Rookie of the Year, ranked second in the league, averaged just under 10 assists per set here in 2024. Big reason why this Princeton offense has started to click over the last several matches. That's a nice cross-court swing from Flannery there for a side out. Back and forth we go.
Wow, Julia Kakis just whipping that one back all the way across, momentum going across the court. But I saw her do that a few times when I watched their match Friday, and she is very strong and able to get that set all the way across.
We've got two really young and really experienced setters that have played quite a bit of volleyball in their young careers. Sydney Draper for Princeton and Julia Kakis, the true freshman setter for Brown. Something to keep an eye out for in this match. Here's Draper teeing up Cheney, and Cheney squeezes one through that block. Let's see if that gets her swing going.
Yeah, Brown right there in front of her, just not enough press on that one, which creates that ball to slide right between the net and the front of them there. Tried to cover it, but just hit the net in a weird way.
Princeton trying to be first to 20 here in the first set. Last time these two played, 2 of the 3 sets were decided by 2 points or less. That's a tip at the net on the swing. And it'll go down for a kill for McClory.
Rova going again for those high hands, really attacking them. Can't be scared of the block when you know you're getting a lot of sets. You might have 4 hands in front of you. You've got to find a way to score, and she is.
Oh, sneaky stuff for Sydney Draper. Over in 2 and finds that short corner.
And she did this against Yale. They needed a point. They needed to keep that momentum, and she has a nice behind-the-shoulder dump. Brown not ready for that one.
So Princeton first to 20 as Draper serves it away. Kakis to Sidorova, tight to the net. Cheney first contact, a little give and go there. Couldn't get much behind it. Good chance coming here. Bold with second contact to Cheney, who kills and terminates.
In system, out of system, no matter what they give Cheney, she gets her feet to the ball. And when she does, like that last one, she really can get some heat on it, no matter where it is on the net.
Cheney now with 3 kills in this first set. After starting 1 for 7, she's put together a couple of good swings in her last couple of attempts. Vanderlaan right into the dig of Bold, but nobody able to go chase that one down on second contact. And Vanderlaan, a couple of kills here in the first as well. Vanderlaan, Nicole, is the engine that makes this train go for the Brown Bears. Not only what she does offensively, but leads the team in blocks, second on the team in kills. They really rely on some action in the middle of the floor. Nice up by Sidorova. And Griebel slowed down by that net. Here goes Cheney now with a tip shot and kept up by Kakis. Might have been double contact there, Nicole?
Looks
4
like
contacts?
Up 4 for 4
Yeah.
contacts. You can only have 3. I guess I missed that one. Maybe a possible little touch off the block, they thought.
Well, Princeton.
Back to Bo Vanderlaan.
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole.
You mentioned with her block, she's etching her name in the Brown record book. That is for sure. She sits second currently in program history. And if she gets that 400 block mark, she'd become just the second Bear to ever reach the milestone. She's been a huge part of this defense. And as we mentioned, Princeton, number 5 right there with Cheney. You've got to have a good block in front of her. So I know Vanderlaan, they want her in the front when Cheney is as well, putting up some solid wall there to stop her.
No doubt. And head coach Taylor Virtue has pulled out that green challenge card. Coaches get 2 challenges per match. They get an extra one if we go to a 5th set. And they're going to be challenging that call that was made by our up official. You were right, Nicole. Held up that number 4. 4 fingers indicating 4 touches. Here's another slow-mo look at it. Okay, so I think that's where you're seeing the 2 contacts. That's the only way that I could see it, the collision between Kakis. Yeah.
Yeah, because it clears this block, no problem. No fingers there, but Perhaps
So it's
1-2.
Griebel and Park there hitting the deck together and maybe making contact at the same time. The question is going to be, is there enough evidence to overturn the call on the floor?
That is the part here. The refs will take their time looking to make sure they get this correct. Looks like Griebel had her hand on it first, then maybe pinged off of Park.
Yeah.
Like in that shot there to our crew. Very good job.
Yeah, a lot of spin on that ball, which would tell me that it actually did touch both of them instead of just Griebel on the up. But our
We don't usually
officiating crew
train
will...
with people with one arm out each passing. So, not usually.
Not really your traditional save there on the floor, yeah.
Not usually, but at least they were both going for it. They know they had that tip falling down early on in this set. Princeton was doing that soft shot over the block and no one near it. So now Brown made an adjustment and, okay, they had the double their touch, but at least they've got some players going for it. Just a little bit of an earlier call on who's going to take it.
All right, so if it stands, Princeton will hold on to their 4-point lead here in this first set. A reminder to all the folks at home. A lot of new volleyball fans joining the sport this year. We play to 25 in the first 4 sets. We go to 15 in the 5th if we need it. Got to win by 2 in all 5 sets if we reach that point. It was only 3 sets the last time that these two played. It was handled well by Princeton. Both these teams started off really strong in this first set, Nicole, hitting well over 400. But since about the midway point at that 15-point mark, Brown's hitting percentage has gone down to 265. The call will stand on the floor. So Brown will lose one of their challenges. Coach Virtue down to 1 challenge for the remainder of the next couple of sets. That is until we get to a 5th set, if we get there. 22-18, we pick it up with Cheney serving away. Packus out to Griebel. Cheney first contact. Draper tries the left pin. Udicor slowed down by the block, and Vanderlaan in the middle of the floor. And Vanderlaan now with 4 kills here in this first set, Nicole.
Well, yeah, Vanderlaan's doing the work. She's getting off the net, and a lot of times the middles are working their tails off and not always getting as many sets as the pin hitters. So you got to go up strong every time, and that's what she's doing.
Jesse Golden off the top of the tape, and Griebel puts it down. Couple of points in a row for Brown, a mini 2-0 spurt, and it's 22-20. Jesse Golden, the libero for the Bears, leading the Ivy League in digs, getting it done behind the service line right now. Now Nudicor into the middle. Sitter over there with the up. Griebel handled by the back row. Nudicor. Now a back row attack for Sidorova. Good hustle by Princeton, but it will fall for a kill. And a 3-0 run by the Brown Bears here to make it a 1-point set, and a timeout going to be called. Day match. Both of these teams will play all year long. And a tool to block in the middle. First time we're seeing Jackie Onyechi get involved in the action. The freshman middle blocker from Richmond, Texas, will sub out.
Yeah, she's been a phenomenal addition here for Princeton. Coach Sabrina King said is really impressed with her game and what she's brought to the table.
Sydney Bold with an ace to get Princeton to set point. Bold with her 13th ace of the year.
Right now it's crunch time. It's 1 point here for Princeton. Brown's got to handle this pass. So make an addition, a sub here, substitution.
Sophia Wolfson will check in. Yeah. Tough serve there, and it goes out. Might have been hit by Sydney Bold. It gives the Bears another life here in the first.
And we know Brown leads the Ivy League in digs per set. They get a lot of digs on defense. Now's the time to get those transition plays and capitalize.
Julia Kakis to send it away, a float serve. Draper going back on it. Here comes a back row attack from Cheney. An aggressive swing, but it'll end with an error. Brown within one. And Brown tie it up and force extra points here in the first. Middle of the floor, Scalamandre slowed down. Here's Griebel now on the attack. Did it catch a piece of the block? It did not. And Princeton will take the first set. Now, again, worth noting, Coach Virtue utilized already one challenge. Is she going to try and take a second challenge? If she does and loses it, she would be out of challenges for the remainder of the match. So it's all the chess match involved. All right, so Princeton will take the first set. No challenge coming from Brown. 25-23. It was a close one. Second set coming up from Providence when we return.
And they did a big sparkly Eiffel Tower show, and it was just awesome for all the teams to be together. And what an experience, not only to play there, but then to take in some of the culture as well.
No question. And we're seeing the growth not only of women's basketball, but women's sports all throughout the country. And you see all the crowds and record attendance that we're seeing at women's volleyball matches as well. It has been so awesome to see. It's amazing what happens when you invest in women's sports, right, Nicole?
Absolutely. It just goes up and up, that's for sure.
That's Hannah Flannery on a right side attack, and Princeton out to a good start here in the second after taking the first. 2-0 burst. Gia Scalamandre, middle blocker with the serve. Brown looking to strike first here in the second set, and it's a middle attack from Sophia Wolfson. Only played in one set on Friday, but a top 50 volleyball recruit in the class of 24 has really come on strong last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Coach actually mentioned we might see her today. As we mentioned, some players working in, getting those opportunities, and when you get them, you got to come in and capitalize, and she's been doing that well.
Wolfson into the net there. Los Angeles, California native. Second on the team in blocks this season with 37. 3-1 Princeton. And Sydney Draper, the setter, sends it away. Kakis pushes one to the backside. Flannery couldn't get much behind that. And that will be a carry. Lift over the net.
Yeah, took that one a little bit too low, lifted it over the net, tried to make the best of it. But Flannery, with that low set, I've noticed in her play that she really does a nice job. She doesn't make an error. She just keeps it in play, gives her team, a chance to put a block up and defend.
Ella Park with a serve. And Cheney elevates, climbs the ladder for that one. Cameron Cheney picking up right where she left off in the first set, now with 4 kills on the match.
Well, she really does elevate. Look how high she is on top of the ball. She's over the block, Sam. No one's touching that. She is clearing the block and hitting a very sharp angle.
A leader on this team, and another ace for Cheney. She's already got 3 aces here in this match. This is an aspect of her game that's really improved. She actually came in with a wicked topspin serve, but we were talking to Coach King. She has now worked more to the float serve, but it has still been just as lethal.
I'll say so.
Sidorova, duel on the block.
And again, Sidorova with 2 in front. She's just chiseling away at Princeton's block. Need to maybe take 1 step over on their block, close the line down, and get that right hand over, cut off her line.
Overpass here. Kakis, a lot of options. Middle in Vanderlaan was looking for a tip, not going to find it. And Princeton with a 3-point lead here early in the second.
That one forced a little bit too much, in my opinion, to the middle on that, with the Kakis was a little bit farther behind Vanderlaan. Tough one.
All right, so it looks like Coach Virtue is going to try to utilize that second challenge card. And these are always some of the tough ones to overturn because, again, you need clear and conclusive evidence to overturn a call. We did not get a touch at the net from our officials, so there needs to be some clear evidence to overturn it. Brown already lost their first challenge, so now they're putting their second on the table here, Nicole. This is a big spot in the game.
Yeah, and I didn't see any fingers in that slow-mo. You kind of try to see if there's any movement or fingers going backwards a little bit. Kind of looks like it went in between the seam, not catching any. And like you said, if they don't win this challenge, then they won't have any more left unless we hit that fifth set. Right now,
Well,
Princeton with their service pressure has been the difference already coming into set two, just applying that service pressure very well, getting some aces.
Yeah, no question. And getting off to fast starts, obviously imperative for both sides, but maybe more so for Brown. We were talking to Coach Virtue about this. The Bears are 23-4 under Coach Virtue when they win the first set of a match. Conversely, they are 1-9 this season when losing the first set, and 1-13 overall when losing the first set under Coach Virtue. So drop the first set, trying to throw all the cards on the table here and go all in with this challenge card and flip the momentum.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's not that they came out slow in that first set. They just kind of a few unforced errors at the wrong time, and Princeton took advantage of it. But now, right now, it's if you lose set one, how are you going to bounce back in set two? Are you going to get down a little, or are you just going to keep level, that maintain the play that you had? And as we saw, we had some big hits from Brown. They got a lot of people involved in the offense. Sidorova is leading with 7 kills, doing a nice job, only 1 error. So they've got quite a few players in play. Griebel, as we mentioned at the top of the show, and Vanderlaan in the middle. So doing a nice job spreading it across the net. It's just in this particular case, I felt that set didn't have to go to the middle. It was kind of an awkward positioning and not a great pass. I know sometimes you want to force it in transition, but that was maybe a higher percentage on the extreme there in my book.
Well, Bo Vanderlaan was the player that took that swing, and Bo has had an incredible impact throughout her career at Brown. She's one of the more decorated players in program history. She's been named first team All Ivy League in all 3 years that she's been on campus. And I thought it was interesting talking to Coach Virtue about, I don't know if you even want to call it struggles, but it hasn't been a year that like she had last year or 2 years ago. And she said to Coach after a loss at Penn, I want to leave this program better than when I came in here. And I think that speaks to the teammate that Bo Vanderlaan is and what she means to this program. Not just what she does on the floor, but her leadership qualities off the floor as well.
Absolutely. I loved when she said that to us. It's like, I'm going to do everything I can to improve this program and the people around it and just show that leadership. And that's, catches on to the younger players. And then you've got those younger players wanting to take that over when she graduates and moves on. But they do have a nice culture here. And Coach Virtue said when she got the head coaching job, we asked her what was something that you wanted to implement more. Oh, there we go on the challenge. Did not go Brown's way.
So Coach Virtue out of challenge cards, at least until we get to a fifth set. If a fifth set is forced here in Providence this afternoon, no challenges used by Coach King in Princeton yet. So those challenge cards can also be used in other ways as well. We've seen coaches get creative and almost use them as a second timeout in some instances when you are out of those. So, wow, what an off-speed shot. I'm not sure how that found the floor from Nudikor on that left pin. Took it all the way across the net, Nicole.
That was impressive. Very, off-speed, kind of far off the net, and no one was there. I think Brown even thought that was going out, but that is impressive. They both turned and kind of stared at it. What a shot.
And that's a nice kill from Griebel. This set was just about to get out of hand there. Could have been. And a critical point in this set, Griebel able to get a side out. Jesse Golden, the libero, with an ace. And Golden, 19 aces on the year, the reigning Ivy League co-defensive player of the year, getting it done behind the line.
Yeah, that's what they needed. Right in time. Perfect. Don't want this set to get away from you too many points.
Golden also just eclipsing the 1,000 career dig mark in the last match there. Scalamandre. He's hitting almost 500 against conference opponents this season. Currently ranks 5th amongst active players in career hit percentage at .383. Ella Bundy, first time we are saying her name in this match as she sends a nice serve across. That swing goes long. Got a tip, though, at the net to Griebel. And we'll go down for a point and a kill for the outside hitter.
Yeah, and Griebel's doing a really nice job getting those sets out there, getting the opportunity, tooling the block, going high off the hands. That one can't be covered.
Kakis with a nice float serve, handled well in the back row by Bold. There's Bold again on the recovery. And a whistle at the net.
Yeah.
It was against Princeton.
Yeah. So that signal from the ref was meaning like the player was a front row player, broke the plane of the net, which you can't do. Princeton looking at him, telling him she's front row player.
So Brown bringing it within one now, and Nudikor into the dig of Griebel. Griebel gets right back in position, but they tee up Sidorova for the back row attack.
I mean, front row, back row, Sidorova doing a nice job. We've seen a couple of these. Princeton not quite ready or have an eye on her as much. You can see Scalamandre up there, but Sidorova just hitting it right by her block.
Raper got a little help out of the net, throwing it into the campfire over in 2, and Princeton up 9-8.
Well, yeah, I like that when they need it, she is confident in her offensive game as well. We saw one from behind the shoulder. She dumped and scored, and now again helps her team out.
She was super aggressive the last time these two played. She had 5 kills, which was one off her season high. She's already got a couple here in this match as Griebel takes a line shot. Held up in the back row by Princeton. Now on the attack, Cheney into the dig of Kakis. Couldn't keep it in play. Princeton first to 10 here in the second.
Well, and Cheney not just going up and ripping that one, and that's what head coach Sabrina King said is, you know, her biggest adjustment to the college game last year was learning how to score, diversifying hitting toolbox, which, you know, not just come in cranking it every single time, but working in those soft roll shots, the off the block, off the edges of the block. So she's really grown in that part of her game.
Hannah Flannery returns the favor there on the opposite pin. Gets Brown the serve back. Kayla Griebel said her name a lot already in this match. She missed some time early in the season with an injury, but since she has come back, she has been just dynamite for the Bears. Cheney with the deep corner shot.
Well, and Cheney just does an excellent job waiting. She's getting all types of different tempo sets. The out of systems, she does a nice job waiting on that, getting her feet to the ball, keeping that right shoulder high on the attack.
Sidorova. Scalamandre there. Cheney tight to the net, tips it over. Golden on second contact. Sidorova into the block of Princeton. Now Sidorova again is stuffed right back. Draper was in on the block, so too was Onyeci.
That was a good adjustment on the block. Look, Sidorova of Brown has been tooling the block away that line, and Draper on the right hand just angles that into the court a little bit more, and that makes a huge difference keeping that ball in bounds.
2 blocks in the match for Princeton. Draper pushes one to the deep corner, gets Brown out of system there, and an out of system swing for Flannery goes deep.
I just love Julia Kakis, the Brown setter, and how she can sling that ball from all the way across, and it's a beautiful set. Just a little bit too long on the attack with an error.
6 in the Ivy League, just over 8 assists per set. And there she is again with a dump shot. Julia Kakis out of Huntington Beach, California, Mater Dei High School. A high school All-American by our friends at AVCA. California Player of the Year.
Well, she also had a little beach experience in her high school career, and you can see right there that volleyball IQ just taking over, taking charge.
Just had to get the beach reference in there, did we, Nicole, huh?
That's right. I had to give the look.
Cheney right back in on the action. Cam Cheney now 7 kills on 18 swings with just 2 errors coming off that errorless match on Friday night against Yale. Sidorova, yes. Erin McNair checks in, sophomore outside for Princeton. Now Park with the serve into the net, and Princeton first to 15 once again here in the second set. Good start in the first for the Tigers. Good start in the second.
Be ready for anything in the set. And again, establishing the middle with Scalamandre is huge because Brown knows Cheney gets a lot of balls. They've really got to find that one-on-one situation for her on the block, and setting the middle helps that.
And how about the service game as well? Not only for Cheney, but this entire Princeton team. That's 4 aces already in this match for the sophomore from Chicago. Overpass, touched over by Harrington. And kind of a missed opportunity there for Princeton. Handled well by Sidorova, but they got a free ball, didn't make anything out of it.
Yeah, they sure did. That was quite a scramble from Brown. And something Coach Virtue said, she does have a gritty and scrappy team, and that was one of those kind of wild plays that paid off.
Draper quick to the right side, and an attack error for Ava Harrington. Their line judge calling a touch, though. And again, worth noting, Brown out of challenges, but they will take a timeout here. And a 5-point lead for the Princeton Tigers here in the second. We talked about Lucia Scalamandre and what she did on Friday against Yale with 12 kills. She hit .611 in that match, and she's right back at it again here in Providence, Rhode Island.
Well, she is doing a nice job. Coach Sabrina King said, look, she has put the work in with their setter to get this connection going, and we've seen a variety of sets in front of the setter, behind the setter, you name it. She is doing the hard work, getting open and putting herself in position. High attack point, hitting down on the ball, and looking good here for Princeton as they establish that middle attack and offensive weapon. We know Cameron Cheney on the outside pin is usually getting the majority of the attempts, but Scalamandre is doing an excellent job. 4th in the Ivy League in her hitting percentage. She was also the 2022 Ivy Rookie of the Year, so she's been a force here since her beginning her career here at Princeton.
How about no errors on the match as well for Scalamandre? 6 kills on 7 swings and an .857 hit percentage. There are also no blocks for Brown yet in this match. I feel like if they want to get back in this thing, it might start on the defensive side, slowing down some of these attackers for Princeton. Here's Griebel. That one sent right back. Dances on the top of the tape, kept up on Princeton's side. Harrington with a roll shot, kept up by Kakis. Now Griebel on the attack, off high hands. Nudikor off the net. Bold to Nudikor, and Nudikor's swing floats long. A long rally won by Brown. See if that'll swing momentum to the Bears' side. Overpass, dumped down, but Harrington was there. Now Nudakor into the block, kept up by the Tigers. They'll push it over. Another free ball. Kakis, a lot of options, goes to Griebel. That block is causing some problems for Brown right now, but finally a block is returned. Sophia Wolfson, the first block of the match for the Bears.
And that's what they need to do. They need to front Scalamandre a little bit more in the middle. As you know, they're getting 2 out on the pins, but Scalamandre's been doing damage. That one, Brown did an excellent job fronting her and shutting it down.
And another free ball, but no, it will go long. So a error that might prove costly is going to force a timeout for Sabrina King and Princeton. They will utilize their first here in the second set, and a nice run put together by Brown.
And again, it comes back to those unforced errors. As we mentioned in set number 1, the numbers are, the hitting percentages, Princeton higher in set 1. Brown had one too many errors in that area. And right now, Princeton rattling off a couple unforced errors I think are controllable and able to keep in the court. That could have given them an opportunity here to get the ball back.
So a 3-0 run by the Bears, 4-1 run overall here, and it's 17-15. It's a consequential match for both sides. Princeton 7-2 in Ivy League play right now. Brown sitting at 4-5 in 5th place in the conference.
And this, Sam, is when this little push and momentum happened. Jessie Golden, you see her flying across the court to dig that ball to keep her team alive. Then this hit out of bounds. So she is doing nice work back there, hence why she was the 2023 Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year and first team selection. She has been just an incredible libero for this team and a big reason why they're number 1 in digs in the Ivy League.
And she leads the Ivy League in digs, 4.3 per set. Let's see if Brown can continue that momentum, and a block once again. Wolfson with the range.
Well, Sam, you mentioned Brown needed to get that block going, so I guess they're got a little earpiece right now. So
Golden behind the line. That one might have gone long, but instead Cheney touches it. Golden with the dig. Kakis will try Griebel. This time it's blocked back on Princeton's side. Scalamandre in on the action.
Scalamandre trying to get that other block on her back, and that was a straight down. Good press over the net. No one can cover that one.
Second block of the match for Scalamandre. She had 6 blocks in the Yale win on Friday night. Kakis looking around for options, and Griebel with an open window to swing and a 1-point set.
Griebel getting a one-on-one here, which means one blocker up, and she just finds it. That wasn't the hardest hit we've seen all night, but she didn't need that. That was a great shot to area 1.
Nudakor, wow, what an up by Bold. And a pancake floated in. And touchdown, Wolfson has been a menace in the middle of the floor since entering here in the second set.
Well, once again, Jessie Golden keeping this alive for her team. Look at this pancake up there for Princeton, but just not enough as Wolfson's making an impact right away at the net defensively.
All tied at 18, and Scalamandre with a quick set to the middle from Draper.
Look to Scalamandre. If they pass well, to get her the ball. She's got a hot hand right now, coming in strong no matter where she gets it. Besides that one block, she's having a lot of success.
Leading the team right now with 8 kills. Serve goes wide right.
And that's a rotation. You want to keep the ball in. You've got Cameron Chaney on the left pin, Scalamandre in the middle. A lot of offensive power, good options there.
Cameron Chaney has also gone a little bit quiet here towards the latter parts of this second set. Nice touch by Scalamandre there and a heads-up play. She can go power, she can go touch, Nicole.
Well, that was nice. It's like she took a look at this one right here, coming in, arm back, ready to crank it, and just redirects it to that corner line. Doing a nice job. Wow.
Princeton first to 20 once again in the second set. Scalamandre with a serve. Out of system here for Brown. Joust at the net. Touchdown by Chaney.
Well, that feels good. Scalamandre gets that nice redirect point, goes back, tough serve, sets her team up for Chaney to get that touch block over for another point. And good call for Brown, as they don't want this one to run away from them. We were kind of here again, Sam, in that first set, and they got a few points after this. They got to nip it right now. And as we've seen, Brown can get a run too, so want to get their opportunities here.
21-19 here. Princeton with the lead. Timeouts are exhausted for Brown. Well, college basketball season tips off in earnest tomorrow, and the Ivy League begins with Princeton hosting Iona at 7 Eastern on ESPN+. It has been a meteoric rise on the basketball court in the Ivy League over the last several years. We saw Yale take down 4-seeded Auburn in the NCAA tournament last year, but 2 years ago it was the run of the Princeton Tigers, who were picked to finish first at the top of the Ivy League preseason poll after winning the regular season title last year. Remember what Princeton did in the tournament 2 years ago, making it all the way to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1967. Took down Arizona, that wrecked just about everyone's bracket, including my own, and then they beat Missouri to make it to the Sweet 16. And it's always the Ivy League teams that are coming out and ruining everyone's bracket, but it's fun to watch.
That's right. And my son did pick Princeton for quite a while in the
wow.
rounds. We kept looking like, whoa, Will, you're going to take everyone down here. I think he was going for the best logo on that choice.
It's a good one. There's some good logos in the Ivy League. There's also an overpass for Chaney, who cleans it up. Princeton 22-19 here, looking to take a 2-0 lead in this match.
And again, it's the service pressure. Scalamandre from the line. Nice jump floater, and 6'2" gets a nice hand on it, making that ball move.
More in system here for Sidorova. The block was there for Draper. Now Draper tees up Chaney with a tip shot. Kept up by Kakis, pushed to the deep corner, and a nice shot. Heads up play there out of the middle of the floor from Draper.
That was a smart shot to the open area. Feels all the players kind of crashing in. Gets her chance. No one even near this corner. Beautiful shot.
4 kills for Draper. We mentioned she had 5 in the last time these two squared off a month ago. And that is the first ace for Scalamandre, but she has just been putting the pressure on the Brown Bears here.
Well, that's what Coach said. Her confidence is high. She's been playing well, relying on her a lot. And you know what? When you're feeling good and things are clicking, this is what you can do.
Set point for the Princeton Tigers here. Draper to the middle. Onyedji had it blocked. And it goes.
One blocker up. And she is a very dynamic, powerful hitter on that outside pin that you want to get 2 blocks up every time. But when you have that 1-2 punch in the front, as they do now, it's very tough.
All right, let's see if Brown can turn things around here in the third. That's Chaney having it blocked. Sophia Wolfson making her presence known here in the middle of the floor. That's her 4th block here in this match.
Well, and since Wolfson has entered, they subbed her in. She is really making a huge impact defensively for Brown, getting that blocking game and that momentum on their side.
And a service ace, so a good start for the Brown Bears here as Griebel finds the floor. Draper to Scalamandre. Slowed down by that Brown block. Here's Wolfson, and Wolfson with a kill.
And Wolfson mainly making an impact defensively, but here's what they need to do is kind of get some balls her way, get that offense going as well, just to add another layer here offensively for Brown.
Hasn't been used a ton as an offensive weapon, just about 1.5 kills per set. Scalamandre on the slide. Took off on 1 foot there, and Draper able to find her.
And taking this short little slide, 1-2 step off one into that angle. And this is the rotation that we ended set number 2 in, with Scalamandre serving, going on quite a run.
Off the top of the tape. Draper, middle of the floor. Kept up, nice cover. Cheney now with a huge swing down the line. What a shot from Cheney.
I mean, that was quite a thump. You can hear the sound. She just has a very strong, powerful arm, heavy on the ball. We've seen a lot of angle from her, but I love that turn down the line, keeping Brown's block.
That one into the up official and out. Princeton ties it up 3-3.
Scalamandre taking a different look, moving on the other side of the line for her serve.
Backus with the back set, and Flannery tools the block. Yeah, you're right, Nicole. I mean, Backus can really push that thing quickly to the pins.
Yeah, she does, and especially when she's going on the momentum, she shifts it back to Flannery, and Flannery doing a nice job moving inside to that set.
Now the slide is down. This time it's on Yetchi. Working behind the setter.
Yeah, Onyetchi a little quiet there offensively, but coach said she is an important piece of what they're doing here at Princeton. Only a freshman coming in. Good energy, light on the court, she said. Very strong block.
All right, so Brown now starting to get their middles involved, and Vanderlaan and Wolfson teaming up there in the middle. Ella Park. Long. That was a good start for Coach Virtue's squad here in this third set. Again, if Princeton wins this set, match would end. Brown needing to win this set to force a fourth.
And the go-to Sidorova on the outside pin now with 11 kills, leading this Brown offense. Back to the line she goes. Talked about her in the open, how important she would be to this match and her game.
Dangerous behind the line too, Nicole. 21 aces on the year, which leads the team. Can they get in a bit of a rhythm in this rotation now? Transition. Here's Harrington, and well done by her, but she was grabbing that arm there after the swing. It's a little bit awkward.
Yeah, last match I saw the shoulder brace on the outside of the uniform.
Yeah.
She still got it on there, but again, as we mentioned, both of these teams kind of dealing with some injuries, some nagging things, trying to put the pieces on the court. And an ace, which is a nice break to not have to take a swing, but Sydney Bold, not only an excellent pass on the one before in serve receive, but now dialing up some points from the line.
Sydney Bold. Brother Jake, the starting catcher on the Princeton baseball team as well. Backus tips one up to Griebel. Now on the backside, Harrington with the kill.
looks like that shoulder's just fine. A beautiful swing. And Harrington actually is a trained middle blocker. So I saw one of the games she played middle and opposite. I was asking coach, are my eyes deceiving me, or am I, what's happening here? But in fact, she's been making an impact on the opposite side, but also has been able to hit in the middle. And there you go with excellent blocking. A big reason why she's out on the court. Does a nice job getting to that line, pressing those hands into the court so she doesn't get tooled.
6'2" sophomore, listed again as a middle blocker. Third on the team, now 36 blocks on the year, and a 4-0 Princeton run will end with an error from Sydney Bold, but a nice run to get Princeton back in front. Brown will send their libero, Jessie Golden, back. Galamondres with an error. He was looking for high hands there.
Yeah, a little save on the set, one-handed, but just not enough. Good connection on that one.
Golden with 11 digs here in the match, the libero for Brown. Harrington into the cross court, kept up by Ella Park. And a block from Wolfson.
How about Ella Park throwing it out on defense right there? As you mentioned, a setter, but comes in and now plays right back defense for this team and keeps this one alive, which sets this up for them to get a huge block again from Wolfson.
Kind of unique to have all Ivy League, two all Ivy League setters on your same team playing in the back row. What a rally here. Free ball over. First contact, Golden. Kakis to the middle, and Wolfson terminates.
Terminates and then comes down with a little swagger for her team to say, all right, we can do this. Momentum on their side right now. Look at that pass. Golden just comes right in there. Beautiful lift. Kakis able to sit anywhere.
What a spark Wolfson has provided to this team and has just ignited this gym in Providence. Also behind the line, Jessie Golden with an ace, and largest lead of this match for Brown at 3 points, 12-9 here in the third set. A must-win set for the Bears. Galamondre side out.
Galamondre in the front right now. I expect Princeton, if they get a good pass and opportunity, they're going to get that middle going again, as she's had a lot of success.
On the backside, Wolfson tries a slide. It's kept up, though, by Draper. Back row attack, and it's Cheney.
And that's the thing with Cheney staying on the court in 6 rotations. You've got to keep an eye on her, on where she is, because she is deadly from the back row attack as well. Right now, Princeton has Draper up in the front row, meaning they've got 2 hitting options in the front, but a third one with Cheney in back.
This time Cheney has to tip it, but it goes into the net. Cheney with 11 kills. That's her 5th attacking error. Just 2 digs away from yet another double-double.
Just a miss on that one, but I liked that. She saw it open on the sideline. Smart shot, just not enough lift over the net.
Galamondre off the block, kept up by Golden. Now in transition, but Galamondre one-on-one with Wolfson. What a fun matchup that's been in this match.
I was going to say they're having a little battle between themselves here with the blocking, the attacking. And again, a good fronting on Wolfson there by Galamondre to press that over. And an ace for Princeton. And again, Princeton, you see how deep that ball is. They've really been trying to push Brown deep into the court in their serve receive.
That is the 9th ace of the match. And McNair sends another one deep and gets Brown out of system. Griebel, an out of system swing into the dig of McNair. Now on the attack, Cheney pushes one to the deep line. Kakis to the right side. Flannery with a tool of the block.
Flannery's doing the work, getting off the net, finds the seam in that block and attacks it.
Kayla Griebel back to serve. Draper to Scalamandre. Sent right back to Princeton's side. Now they'll try Cheney on the near side, and her swing is cut a little bit too short. Brown to the first to 15 here in this third set as they try to avoid the sweep. They have a 2-point lead here in the third. Two in the second.
Yeah, they've really cut down those errors in their attack on offense, and also their defensive. Their block has been huge difference.
Now a joust at the net, falls on Brown's side. Wolfson touches it up into Scalamandre. Now Cheney with an off-balance swing. Wolfson high off the hands of Draper. Deep corner shot falls for Cam Cheney. A smart shot for the sophomore outside.
That was a smart shot. We know she cranks it. She gets a lot of balls. And when you get a lot of sets, you've got to have a good variety and a lot of different tools, as we call it, in your tool belt. And that was a beautiful shot to area one.
See if Princeton can tie things up here, or can Brown regain that momentum? It's Sidorova on the far side. Masha Sidorova.
And this is their go-to a lot of the times here, Masha Sidorova, and she does a beautiful job right through the seam of the block. Quick tempo out to her.
Off the toe, what a play from Onyechi to keep that ball up. Sidorova with a tip shot, and Cheney couldn't keep it up herself. Sidorova 6 straight matches with 10 or more kills as Brown in front 17-14. Sidorova at 12 kills, now 13, leading all scorers in this match. And an ace.
Well, that was like a laser just coming right across the net, and none surprise, Wolfson there from the line now. As we said, the block, she really came in hot, and that block improved defensively for Brown, and then they got her going in the middle with her offense, and now she's just attacking it from the line.
How about the spark that Sophia Wolfson has provided for the Brown Bears in this match? And it started on the defensive side for Wolfson, but she's getting involved on the offensive side as well, Nicole. Just a huge spark off the bench for this team.
Yeah, that's just what they needed. They made the change at the right time, and she brought some fresh energy, good momentum shift. Started off with that block, as you said. She's got 3 kills in offense now, and it's been a big reason why they've been able to come out so strong here. And not only that, they're serving tougher, bringing that pressure from the line, trying to disrupt Princeton's offense, which they've been running at a pretty good percentage the last couple sets. Set 1, Princeton hit 367. Set 2, they hit 226. Right now, Brown's got them rattled a bit, hitting 136. And a big reason is the block right there. Sophia Wolfson doing the work, fronting, closing on those pin hitters, getting some good hands.
We mentioned the tough start to the season for Brown, but most of their matches came on the road. They started with their first 9 matches of the season away from Providence. It was their most matches away from Rhode Island start of season since 2018. And they went 3-6 in those first 9 road matches. But they started to turn things around the last couple of weeks. They had back-to-back wins over Harvard and Dartmouth. Three-point lead for the Bears here in the third set. Make it 4 as Sidorova with an in-system swing.
Well, she is right now on fire. Anything she gets, she's able to beat the block, coming in aggressive and strong and just hammering it through. She loves that angle. We've seen back-to-back strong angle attacks.
Played in over 100 matches for Brown. And Draper tries Cheney, who tools the block.
Well, you could see they're targeting Cheney again on serve receive, trying to get her short on that one. Handles it just fine. Not a perfect pass, but good enough, and then dishes it out to her for the kill.
19-16 now. Pakis has to track back for it. Sidorova, wow, what a swing, way off the net.
Yeah, that ball way out of system, comes inside the court. And again, that's the work, getting your feet there, not reaching for it, but a good step inside. You keep that ball on that right shoulder, a nice high attack. It doesn't have to be the hardest hit, but she got a good hand on it to put a little spin.
Back row attack. Cheney kept up. Now it's Vanderlaan. Nice dig. Good effort by Cheney. Free ball coming, though. And there is Bold again. Now on the right side, it's Harrington. Wow,
Very
what a defensive
impressive.
play. Unbelievable.
Very impressive by Sydney Bold on that one. That's right. They've had a couple go down there, and she's like, I'm not going to let that happen again. Very quick on D. Look at that. Lifts it up just well enough for them to set Harrington on the right.
And it keeps Princeton in this thing. Gives them a serve now and Bold. And a high set out to Griebel. And Griebel able to finish on the far side. 21-17.
And this rotation with Jessie Golden serving gave Princeton some trouble last set. She went on quite a run. Got an ace. Got them in trouble.
2 aces in this match for Golden. Harrington. Yes. No. Okay, I thought that caught the back line there, but
yeah, me
our
too.
line official saying that was out. And Princeton will call a timeout, utilize their second timeout here in this third set.
Take a look at the replay. Sidorova dodging it there. That looked in from here. I would possibly throw a challenge up on that one just to be sure, but
can't really tell from that. I mean, it looked in off the just off the swing from Harrington, but nevertheless, Princeton still with 2 challenges. Likely not going to use one here, but Brown in front. They've been able to change the tide in this match, Nicole, and it started really with Sophia Wolfson getting involved in the action as well. But we mentioned the defense for Brown being a huge part. Just another look at this.
oh yeah,
I don't know, Nicole. That looks like it's in by quite a bit.
oh yeah, it's in between that Brown, free throw line and the end line there. Definitely worth a challenge possibly, but it's hard to see probably from the opposite bench as the coaches as well to know.
All right, so Brown with a comfortable 5-point lead here in the third set, trying to force a fourth. Harrington again, off high hands. Kept up by Sidorova in the back. There's Wolfson. And Wolfson has just taken over this third set. 4 kills now and 5 blocks in the match.
Like I said, when you get that chance, you come in off the bench. Got to take advantage of that opportunity, and that is exactly what Wolfson's doing.
Golden still behind the service line, trying to get a side out, but the defense, Victoria Vo with the dig there, that sent long by Sidorova this time. And it's 23-18.
And for Brown right now, we've seen several back and forth runs between both of these teams. It's when you're up 23, you got to get that side out right away. Don't let Princeton get any of that momentum back. Try to close out this set number 3.
Wolfson slowed down by the block. Griebel in transition. That won't fall. Now Draper teeing up McNair. Back row attack coming from Cheney. Pushes it. Good hustle Free ball coming. Draper to the backside. Scalamandre off the slide.
Well, both sides having a couple opportunities in transition, as we mentioned. A lot of digs, a lot of gritty play from both these teams. Expected some long rallies.
Backus heads up play to dump it over in 2. And it gets Brown to set point here in the 3rd. Backus, a high school All-American and a first-year player for the Brown Bears. Trying to send it to a 4th set. Good serve. McNair into the cross-court dig. Back row attack is sent straight down by Scalamandre.
Good front on that one. They know Sidorova's in the back row. They set her a couple plays ago. She's done some damage, so you really got to key on her and hold a little bit longer before you make that move.
24-20, still set point for Brown. Able to keep it in system, and Wolfson, who else? Sends it to a 4th set. Sophia Wolfson with 5 kills.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the essence.
What?
Brown squaring off on the volleyball court. Princeton taking the first 2 sets, but momentum shifted in the 3rd set, thanks in large part to Masha Sidorova, who has just been stellar on the outside pin for the Brown Bears. 15 kills on 28 swings. She's hitting .393 in this match, Nicole.
I mean, she's doing an excellent job on the outside pin in the front row. Not only that, they set her in the back row, added an ace in the mix, but she's playing great defense, and she's got the hot hand, that's for sure. With Sophia Wolfson stepping in as the middle, subbed in after in set number 1 as well, got the momentum for them with the defense, and now Sidorova's got this offense going. And one thing I like, too, about Brown is they have a good distribution on their sets. They have Sidorova with 15 kills, as we mentioned, and then next is Kayla Griebel, but then they've got some with 5, 5, 2, 5. I mean, on the other side, Princeton, it's heavy on Cheney and Scalamandre with 13 and 11, and after that it's 3 kills for a couple other players. So Brown is really getting some nice production from all their offensive weapons, and Kakis doing a nice job distributing.
So we go to the 4th set, still a must-win set for the Brown Bears. If Princeton wins this set, match would end. If Brown wins, we go to a 5th. First point will go to Brown. Now, it's also interesting, too, with Wolfson getting more action in the middle, you are not seeing Bo Vanderlaan, who is a 3-time first-team All-Ivy League player, in the middle of the floor for you. But like we said earlier, Vanderlaan is all in for the team, and right now it's Sophia Wolfson who has had the hot hand for the Bears. It's like watching the same movie again. Brown out to a 2-0 start here in this 4th set now, like they were in the 3rd. This time, Cheney not having any of it, just tooling the block there.
Going up strong against her, hitting down on that block.
$14 kills for Cam Cheney on a team high 36 swings. Out of system, and it will drop out of play. Princeton ties it up 2-2. Now, Princeton really had that serve game going. They got Brown uncomfortable in the first 2 sets, but the Bears have been able to get more in system in that back row. Much better passing in that 3rd set as well, like you mentioned, Nicole. Scalamandre, that one way wide and long.
Yeah, and they weren't getting a lot of service errors, keeping the pressure on Brown. And Scalamandre, we saw in the rotation, serving quite a few balls at a time. Bummed about that one, you can tell.
She rotates out, And the serve back to Julia Kakis, the setter for Brown. Onyechi off the hands of Griebel. Onyechi, the freshman middle blocker, leading the Ivy League this year, too, in hit percentage, Nicole.
Yeah, she is. I mean, that's impressive. Coming in, freshman, balancing a lot of things, not only being at one of these universities and balancing the schoolwork along with being an athlete.
Nice roll shot for Flannery there, just over the block.
See Flannery getting out wide and right in between the seam. Nice roll shot, coming in strong, setting that up, keeping Princeton's defense back a little bit for the hard hit.
Draper over and two. Sydney Draper has now totaled what is 4 kills.
And yeah, she's confident in that offense, you know, taking that chance. Sometimes setters don't do it, but Coach Sabrina King said, yeah, last year she's a freshman setting. Now she's learned how to run the floor. Like, all right, you're the person. You're out here, the QB of the court. You're running the things, telling people the plays. And this year really has improved her gamemanship. Like we just saw that over on 2 set, taking those chances and risks, and it pays off.
Harrington with a strong swing into the dig. Kakis flips one out to Flannery, and Flannery sails it long. 5-4, Princeton in front now in the 4th.
And we haven't seen too many of those long ones from Flannery, so maybe just a little bit lower connection, that set a little bit inside.
Cam Chaney with a serve. Middle of the floor. Wolfson has it sent back, and that's Kakis into the net.
Well, and Princeton block doing the work right now. These last few receptions for Brown, Princeton's got hands on the ball. Brown's getting another chance, like in a transition, but Princeton block getting a lot of hands, slowing it down.
And Chaney gives one right back with a service error, making an 8 for Princeton, 7 for Brown. Been a solid season so far for Princeton. And again, we were talking to Coach King. She doesn't think that her team has really hit their ceiling yet. They are starting to really click, though, over the last couple of matches. This one's able to split the block from Onyechi.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Sam, just she knows they have a lot of talent. As we said, both teams kind of struggling with injuries of who can play at practice, who can play on the games, being able to manage that.
Sidorova blocked, but puts it down. After she got it right back, Masha Sidorova, 16 kills, leading all scorers.
Front row now for Brown. Expect to see her get a lot of sets going her way as this is her last rotation in the front row.
And a service ace. Back row for Victoria Vo. Experienced back row player for the Bears. Unanimous Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year as a true freshman at 21. And again, finding the back corner.
Just what they needed. Back-to-back aces. Always takes a little relief off the hitters. They're like, okay, we got that point. Get it from the service line.
Coach Victoria Vo
added.
Yeah, she has added so much to this team, and she has also just joined the 1,000 Dig Club recently as well.
Yeah, they've got a lot of depth in the defensive specialist position, which is something Coach talked about, and also in the middle blocker position, as we've seen with Wolfson coming in the middle for Vanderlaan this last couple sets.
Harrington's had quietly a really solid match. 6 kills on 13 swings. She's hitting over 300 as Ella Bundy will check in. Sidorova blocked. Kakis to the middle. Vanderlaan has it blocked and touched over. On the slide, Scalamandre ends the point and puts Princeton in front 9-8 here in the fourth. Nudicor dug out. Scalamandre. There's Victoria Vo with the dig. Now Sidorova into the cross court with a kill. And a nice rally won by Brown.
Well, they know Sidorova will deliver as she had all match long. And no matter what, now keep an eye on her in the back row because she has been deadly on that middle back pipe set.
Draper, Scalamandre on the slide. Jessie Golden has been a big reason why Brown's been able to stay in this match. What a dig by Sidorova with one hand. The defense keeping this one up, and it ends in a block at the front with Vanderlaan. But it was Sidorova and Jessie Golden, the libero, that deserve all the credit for that point.
Well, and this is what Coach Virtue said, is their defense has anchored them all year. They lean on that, and they know what they've been working on, and they wanted to work on ending rallies, and that is what they've been doing better. The last set and now this set.
And a timeout for Princeton. Coach Sabrina King has seen enough here in this fourth set. Momentum is absolutely a thing in the game of volleyball, and right now Brown has it. After they had none of it in the first two sets, they have been able to flip the script and put all of the pressure on the Tigers, who have won 4 straight conference matches. And if Brown can force this thing to a fifth, all bets are off at that point. Right now, a 2-point lead. What's the message in that Brown huddle right now?
Well, whatever their momentum shift and what they've been doing, we've seen it defensively. The service line pressure is really paying off. I think you keep staying in that mental game. You know, Coach talks about their mental toughness, their mindfulness, and right now just riding this wave, cutting down the errors, and making smart decisions. And, you know, this would be a huge win for Brown. Like, first we got to get to 5, but they beat Penn. As we mentioned, they're number 5 right now in the Ivy League. The top 4 play in the Ivy League tournament at the end of the year, and the winner of that gets a bid to the NCAA championship. So, look, they know there's a lot on the line, and this would be a huge win for them to get. On the other side, Princeton took down Yale on Friday. That was a big win for them since Yale was undefeated and beat them in 4. So coming in tonight, I mean, this is also, you know, a must win for them as well to stay in the hunt.
Yale started week 10 as one of the 16 remaining unbeaten teams in conference play. But like you said, that was before Princeton Tigers showed up to New Haven, Connecticut, and handed the Bulldogs their first loss. Nudicor off the net, and she cuts it into the net. The error is starting to pile up on Princeton's side here.
Yeah, with the elevation of Brown's block, it's put more pressure on the hitters for Princeton. They're trying to avoid it, which is creating those errors.
Sidorova in the back row, and miscommunication between Cheney and Bold in the back line.
She's just taking this over right now. You know, she's one of those players that just, I think, wants the ball every single time to get it done, to get the victory for her team.
4-0 run for the Bears here. Back row attack from Cheney. Kept up by Vo. Now Griebel tool on the block. And a 5-0 run by the Brown Bears makes it 14-9 here in the fourth.
And this is what Coach Taylor Virtue of Brown said. Look, we lead the conference in digs. And I said, yeah, it's great. You can get so many digs. Now she said, we're working on ending those rallies, getting the points to score. And that's been a big difference in this last set and this one.
And Sidorova gets Brown to 15 here in the fourth. What a turn of events here in Providence, Rhode Island. Princeton takes a timeout. They are out of timeouts here in the fourth set as Masha Sidorova is 1 kill away from a 20-kill match here, Nicole.
Well, she has turned it up, that's for sure. She's their go-to offensive weapon, as we talked about in the top of the show, and she has not slowed down. Front row, back row, you name it, and right now from the service line, bringing the pressure. There's a presence and energy about her that she just, hell, she wants the ball, she wants to take care of business, and she'll put this team on her back if she needs to lead the charge, and that's what she's doing right now.
It's been a 7-0 run since Princeton led this set 9-8. Masha Sidorova has been a big part, and you mentioned it. Coach Virtue said that her message to the team this week was finishing, ending points, terminating, being aggressive. We didn't really see it in the first two sets. We have now seen it in the third and the fourth set, and a shift in momentum here at home for the Brown Bears. It has been everybody stepping up their game. Sidorova, yes, but Wolfson starting that momentum shift. Griebel as well in double digits with 11 kills. Flannery on the opposite pin with 6 as well. And they've got, everybody getting in on the action. 6 players that have contributed at least 2 kills in this match. Let's see if Princeton can turn things around. Scalamandre slowed down by the block off the slide, and it's Vanderlaan in the middle of the floor. 16-9 and an 8-0 run.
Take a look at this. Once again, Brown slowing the block down, or the attack, with their block. Getting that dig in transition and putting it down.
Griebel. That block kept in, this time by Princeton, and a much-needed side out for the Tigers.
Now Princeton has Cameron Chaney in the front, number 5 there. She'll be on the left side with Scalamandre in the middle. So they've got 2 hitters in the front row now, and their setter, Sydney Draper.
Now Griebel. McNair with a one-handed save. Bold tips it up. Chaney won't fall. Griebel on the near side with a kill. Kayla Griebel off high hands with 12 kills.
And that soft little shot that Chaney just did was going down in set number 1, but Brown adjusted, and they've been picking those up, so that's not open right now. You got to find something else, maybe deep down to area 1.
Chaney tries a line shot. Griebel has to throw a free ball over. Where does Draper go? Scalamandre! Tool in the block. What career Lucia Scalamandre has had. The third-year player actually led the league in blocks as a true freshman with 104, which ranked third most all time in a single season in program history in 2022. Rightfully earned her Ivy League Rookie of the Year honors. Off the net swing for Chaney. Backus finding Griebel. Backus now with a career high in assists in this match at 43.
Jesse Golden, 20 digs already in this match. Libero in pink on Brown's side there. Really doing a nice job for her team, giving those chances in transition to score.
Draper with a heads-up play to go over in 2. There's Golden, 2 aces as well behind the line for Brown. Now it's Sydney Draper, the setter, back to send it away. Backus, near side, Griebel. They're swinging with confidence right now, Nicole. That is for sure.
Well, she's coming off a big night Friday against Penn with 15 kills, and she's just flowing right into this one. There's no slowing her down.
Way out of system here for Princeton. And a free ball sent over. Kakis. Sidorova this time.
I mean, definitely Brown has taken Princeton kind of out of their game of what they've been doing. They started off slow with their blocking for Brown. They picked that up. And now with their set, look at that tempo out to Sidorova, really picking that up. Princeton not able to get out there. Sidorova with another big hammer.
Here goes Cheney. And Cheney still slowed down by the block. That was there, but able to tool it. Ten blocks in this match for Brown. 12 for Princeton. Middle shot, tipped over, kept up though by Harrington. McNair throws it over. Sidorova into the cross court with the kills. Asha Sidorova, 21 kills to lead all scorers in this match.
Well, and Sidorova's getting some of the seam, like in between the block, because Brown has so many weapons they've been using and getting points on the board. They have a good variety, although Sidorova's leading the charge. They've got a more balanced attack going, which is holding Princeton's block on some of those hitters. So they're just a step late getting out to that pin, giving Sidorova some openings.
Now Wolfson checking back in. They'll play in the back row. Right side attack for Flannery. Oh, when it's working, Nicole. Everything's working right now for Brown.
It's all clicking right now for Brown. And if you're Princeton, you've got to find something right now. You've got to get some momentum because the way the score is looking is we're going to 5. So you've got to steady some things out, get some momentum on your side, and fake it if you have to. Celebrate, even if you're down when you get a point.
Wow. Sidorova. Kakis had to send one high in the sky, and Sidorova able to make something out of nothing there. It's 23-13. Wolfson trying to get Brown 2-set point and force a 5th set. Right side attack, this time Shelby Fulton, who did not play in the match on Friday against Yale. And Fulton now getting her first swing of this match. Backside for Flannery, it's set point.
Has a beautiful swing on this one, just crushing down the line. And hats off to round setter Julia Kakis. Wow, she is really keeping them guessing. As you can see, middle blocker's got a hold, leaning towards the outside pin on the left. But wow, Flannery, impressive. As I said, many of the hitters here for Brown, good numbers kill-wise.
Salamandre able to stay off set point. Trying to get some momentum with this thing looking like it's going to go to a 5th set after Princeton was in control of this match in the first 2. The last 2 sets have been just controlled by the Brown Bears and dominated. 24-15, still set point for the Bears. Sidorova kept up by Bundy. McNair. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost for the Brown Bears in the first 2 sets, they flipped the script and win the 3rd and the 4th to force 5 sets here in Pizzatola Sports Center in Providence, Rhode Island. What a match it has been here in the Ivy League. Cole Branna, Sam Ravitch, look at this. I mean, we talk about flipping the script, Nicole. This just illustrates it perfectly.
Well, Brown's block was a little slow to start this matchup, and it got going when Sophia Wolfson stepped in there in the middle, got some good touches, and things just started to change from there. Sidorova on the outside pin for Brown has been on fire. The hot hand leading with 22 kills, her career high so far today. We've still got more to play. Princeton's got to bounce back. They've got to wipe off that last set and just go back to what they were doing in set 1 and 2. Their service pressure from the line wasn't as tough, in my opinion, from these last ones. And Brown, they upped their game. So see how we go in set 5. But I expect it's going to be a thriller, edge of your seat kind of match, kind of set.
No question, a decisive fifth set here between these two teams fighting for spots in the Ivy League tournament just over 2 weeks away. Now, a reminder, we play to 15 in the fifth set. Still have to win by 2. Also worth noting, Brown out of challenges. They tried 2 challenges in the first set, but you get you get an extra one in the fifth set. So Brown has 1 challenge to use here in the fifth. We are underway. Sophia Wolfson out of the middle, dug up by Bold. Here goes Cheney, and Cheney terminates in a good start for Princeton.
Well, Princeton's going to get the ball in her hand as much as they can. She has been their big offensive weapon this year, leading the Ivy League in points and kills. And, of course, a good idea to start her up in that left front, so she's got 3 rotations in the front row to start this set.
Wolfson immediately gives it right back to Brown. Sophia Wolfson, dynamic player in the middle of the floor with 6 kills in the match. Again, Wolfson only played 1 set, had 0 kills in the match against Penn on Friday. Has come up huge for the Bears in this one. But there once again is Cheney on that far side. It's 2-1. How crucial is quick starts and good starts in this fifth set for both sides, Nicole?
Well, it's crucial in any set, but especially when we're going to 15 and they're going to switch on 8, have a little break in between to cross the net. But you've got to get it going and get the clean passes, keep those unforced errors down.
Good serve from Scalamandre, still in system though, and a tip shot, Flannery. Good defense played by Princeton, but a free ball coming here. To the right side, it's Flannery. The block was there from Yanyechi. Wolfson, and Wolfson with a kill. Lundy couldn't keep it in play. It's tied 2-2.
Well, and I know we've said Sidorova's name quite a lot from Brown today, but I do really love how Julia Kakis has gotten her athletes in good kill numbers. Griebel's got 14, Flannery 8. You know, Wolfson's at 6, creeping up there, and we did have Bo Vanderlaan in earlier in this match, and she had 6 kills herself as well, so a wide variety of options.
First time that was really seeing the Princeton block get involved since the second set. And that one pushed down by Onyechi in the middle. Sydney Draper, the setter, with 42 assists on the match, sends it away. Tracking back on it, Kakis. And a mistake made by Sidorova, really the first one she's made all match long.
Yeah, we haven't seen that from her. And again, those are those little errors. That's a free ball. She's just trying to do too much with it. It's that unforced error.
And it's out. Princeton leads it 5-2.
Princeton's block definitely elevated up coming into this fifth set. And for Brown, you know, Princeton's going to get blocks. They have a good blocking team. They just need to not get rattled, shake it off, and go to the next play.
Critical juncture here in this fifth set. Princeton with a 3-point lead. Again, we played a 15. Still got to win by 2. Draper with the serve. Now on the backside, Flannery has it blocked. Griebel there to cover. Sidorova sends over a nice shot, though. Now Cheney in transition with a kill. It is 6-2, Tigers in front.
Well, and this is what head coach Sabrina King said they needed to do, that Brown has a very good defensive block, very good on digs, and she needs her hitters to use the edges of the block. So they've been preparing for that in this particular matchup.
Cheney with half of her team's kills. Cheney with half of her team's kills here in this fifth set. And an early timeout for head coach Taylor Virtue. Take a look at what these teams have done when it goes the distance. Brown has not won a 5-set match yet this year. Princeton 2-4. So not a ton of success on either side here in 5-set matches, although Princeton has played in twice as many as Brown has this season. I got to figure that plays into it a little bit as well, but so too does fatigue. I mean, these teams playing really quick turnaround matches. Both these teams playing on Friday night and then having to get ready for this match on Sunday. These two players, Cheney and Sidorova, have carried the way. Expect us to say their names quite a bit more as this fifth set goes along, Nicole.
I think that we will be. You can see that hitting percentage right there. Sidorova just doing a nicer job keeping those errors down. Although Cheney, as of late in the last few games, has collected hardly an error in her many attacks that she has.
Yeah, her 8 errors in this match, the most that she's had in the last couple of weeks, as Draper has had the hot hand behind the line, and this has been a good rotation, especially on the defensive side for Princeton on that block. Can they get a side out? They do. Sidorova off the block of Princeton and down, and a crucial side out for the Bears. Now it's Wolfson behind the line for Brown. Oh, that was a big swing from Onyechi, and she hits it into the net.
That was a powerful one. If that would have cleared the net, I would not want to have been anywhere near that.
Instead, an attack error, and breathes a little life into this Brown team in the fifth. Cheney elevates. Sidorova on first contact. Little give and go from Kakis. Tries the line shot and misses wide.
Yeah, good dig by Sidorova. And Cheney loves that sharp angle. She attacks it well, and she's been beating the block the last few swings she's had. Sidorova just trying to thread the needle a little too much.
Way out of system, and yep, that'll fall for a point. Princeton first to 8 here in this fifth set. Teams will switch sides here in the fifth. So an incredible start for Princeton as Brown had all the momentum going into that fifth set, Nicole, and especially after a team's able to close it out the way that they were in that fourth, winning at 25-15. It was nowhere close for the Tigers, and here they are with a 4-point lead in the fifth.
Yeah, and I think that shows a lot about just their mental toughness and being able to bounce back. That last set we had, set 4, you're right, Brown was just doing everything right. Anything they did, it went down and had a lot of success, but it didn't rattle Princeton as they start off strong here, 8-4 in the fifth.
Vanderlaan has it, stopped by Onyechi.
This is the Princeton we saw in set number 1 and 2. Coming in, getting those blocks. Look at that fronting, the right hand pressed all the way over. Pumping her team up.
Onyechi with 4 blocks here in this match, and all 4 have proved critical when you're looking for a bit of a shift in momentum. Now, Brown here in this fifth set. Both teams, by the way, with 3 kills, but Brown with 5 errors in this fifth set. Just one shy of the first set when they had 6 errors for the most in a set in this match. Made some mistakes.
Yeah, the Princeton block has really elevated and causing trouble. And Brown hitting negative, 154 right now. So they've got to find out a way. Again, like Princeton's head coach Sabrina King said about chiseling the block. Now Brown's got to start doing that, not going so hard into it, but finding different ways and get creative to get those points on the board.
Coach Virtue, second year as the head coach at Brown, has really elevated this program to new heights, helped get the Bears out to their best start in program history in 2023 as they won their first 8 matches of the season. Trying to pick up a massive win in the Ivy League, but right now it's Princeton with the lead. Wow. Serving tough. It looks like Princeton of the first and second sets behind the service line here in the 5th.
Yeah, they just kind of had a little lull in the middle of this match and been able to bounce back. This is the serving pressure that we saw from the beginning of this match today.
5 points away from taking this match, and a mistake there from Cheney serves it into the net. Cheney with her 4th service error in this match, but she also has 5 aces.
Yeah, these are good ratios with the aces to errors. Those are not bad when you've got that many aces on the board.
Victoria Vo behind the line for the Bears. Tipped over and it falls. Fulton with a kill. Fulton has taken 2 swings in this match, Nicole. Both have resulted in kills.
Yeah, and this is what here's another substitution situation where you put a player in who hasn't been on the court as much and getting that opportunity, making a difference, a different look that they're giving Brown with having her in on that right side position and a smart tip shot.
And it looks like, yes, Coach Virtue will utilize that challenge again. Yes, she used her first 2 challenges and came up unsuccessful in the first set. But when you get to a 5th set, like we said, you get a challenge back. And she will utilize it here. And you know what, Nicole? Why not, right? I mean, with the way that this 5th set has gone, try to pick off a point if you can.
Yeah, she's already used both timeouts. It's 11-5 right now, thinking that they got a hand under that ball, kind of like a pancake, and see if it, caught the hand and didn't touch any part of the floor, but trying to shift that in her team's favor because she knows they can go on a little bit of a run as well, as we've seen throughout this match. But right now, Princeton has really elevated in all areas of the game, especially their block. And Brown giving them a lot of trouble as they're hitting negative 214 right now.
All right, like we mentioned, we're just about 2.5 weeks away from the start of the Ivy League tournament. Princeton is in a really good spot as it stands. Here's what they have coming up down the stretch. You go at home against Cornell and Columbia, then a trip up to the greater Boston area to Harvard and Dartmouth. Then the Ivy League tournament starts. Now, they have had success against some of these teams already this season, but still want to finish strong, and you finish on the road for Coach Sabrina King and her Tigers team. But again, they've rattled off 4 straight conference wins coming into this match, trying to make it a 5th in a row.
Well, yeah, and as we saw last time these two met, it was a sweep for Princeton, and now look at, we've got it going to 5 here. So, later in the season, teams make adjustments and it off here for Brown. They can get back in it.
There's another look at what Brown is challenging, trying to see if that hand from Jesse Golden, the libero, got underneath the ball enough. Any part of that ball hits the floor, Nicole, it's down for a point, right?
That's right. It does look like it hits the floor there, not totally clean. It did have some spin going back onto it, so that's what they kind of thought, it rolled back onto the spin, but whether it touched the floor first or not is what they're really taking a close look at.
Well, they were unsuccessful in their first 2 challenges, utilizing their extra challenge here in the 5th, down by 6 points. Our officials taking a long look at this, giving it the due diligence it deserves, considering the critical juncture that we are at in this match. Another look at it. Again, the call on the court
Thought it was
ruled
up.
down, so you need some clear evidence to overturn it. Here comes the call. All right, so challenge successful. How about that?
There we go. Paid off. And when you're this late in the third set, it's like, why not? If there was a question, you might as well have him take a look on it and have another opportunity.
Brown baseball team in attendance here. Yeah, so now it goes back. Take a point off the board here. Still a 5-point match, and here we go. Vanderlaan pushes it down. Brown within 4. Well, you take momentum in any which way you can get it in these short fifth sets. Might the challenge help them out? Sidorova out of system swing. Tools the block. It's 10-7.
And we know with Sidorova in the front, they're going to get that ball to her, but they do have some good options as well.
And a timeout called by the Princeton Tigers and Coach Sabrina King. For a little bit of a run here by Brown after the successful challenge. Couple of points in a row. And again, here we go. So, I mean, back and forth. This match has been completely different, by the way, than the first time that these two teams played, where Princeton won in straight sets. It looked like it was going that way again in the first two.
Yeah.
And then Brown with the third and fourth set wins and not going away easy here in the fifth.
They kind of took a page out of Princeton's book of what they were doing with their block in D and serving, and then they kind of switched roles there. Then Brown had sets 3 and 4 of incredible blocking, good serving from the line pressure, and really in that set 4, it was like they could do no wrong. So had that momentum coming in here, but you know, it's a long match. Not only having the volleyball skill, but the mental toughness to sustain these long sets and be able to wipe off bad plays, move on to the next, is a big part of the game as well.
So Victoria Vo still behind the line for Brown here, as they are on a 3-0 run here in the fifth set. Vo had 36 aces last year, which ranks second in the Ivy League. Fulton able to get a kill out of it. 11-7.
Fulton has a high reach. She really gets up there and did a nice throwdown on that one. Got a little sauce on it. See if it's the handle in the backcourt on the dig.
Sidorova was looking for a touch. Did not get it. 12-7. Princeton back in front by 5, and they are 3 points away from taking this match on the road. It's just the 6th attack error on 50 swings from Sidorova in this match. They'll go right back to her. This time gets a touch at the net.
And now her strong serve from the end line. And again, keep an eye on her in the back row. Get that back row attack going. She's been very productive back there.
Janie and Nudikor in the back row as well. Nudikor first touch here, and an overpass is cleaned up by Vanderlaan.
And that's the service pressure right now to inch their way back closer. Good hand on the ball, good float. Attacking Nudikor there on the left side, and they're going to go after her. She's in the front row. I say send it back to her, keep the pressure on.
It'll be Cheney first contact this time. Draper to the middle, and Scalamandre.
Good pass here by Cheney, just fighting that one off. Good pass, able to set the middle, and back to Scalamandre, where they've had a lot of success offensively.
Lucia Scalamandre with 14 kills, now 15 in this match. 2 points away from match point for the Tigers as Griebel tries a line shot, misses wide.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hesitation that I'm seeing from Brown right now. We didn't see that in set 4 and set 3 when that momentum was going. They were confident, aggressive, going up with the swings. Right now, there's a little bit of a hesitation on the attack.
It is match point for the Princeton Tigers. Scalamandre trying to end it, and she does. A hard-fought match by the Brown Bears, but in the end, the Princeton Tigers take it in 5. They sweep the season series against the Brown Bears and take the 5th set 15-9. Well, what an incredible match, back and forth it was. It started out with what was appearing to be a sweep by Princeton, but then Brown came back out in the 3rd and 4th sets and forced a 5th. An incredibly hard-fought battle on both sides, Nicole.
It was, and, Brown bounced back in that set 3 and 4. Princeton comes in, not playing their best in set number 4, but that's the mental toughness of the game. Came out and took care of business. But for Brown, as Coach Virtue said, look, they get a lot of digs, they get block touches, they get opportunities, but what they have honed in on practice was getting the kills. And I got to say, although they had the loss, they pushed them to 5, they battled it out with gritty play. They did a much improved job on putting that ball down when they had the opportunity, I think, than they have in the previous games.
Cameron Chaney leads the league and ranks in the top 30 in the country, averaging just about 4.5 kills per set. And here she is in the latter parts of the match when they needed her most, Nicole.
Oh, yeah, they know they can count on her. That's for sure. No matter what, they're getting that ball out in system, out of system, you name it. And she came out hot again in set 5. Got them in that big lead, chiseling the block, putting it down in the angle, and also threw in some of those soft shots over the block. Really has diversified her offense since freshman year, and now only a sophomore, and carrying this load of the team right here. Impressive. Passing, 6 rotation, outside hitter, 19 kills on the night.
Yeah, and had a really nice bounce back match. She had just 6 kills against Marquette in what was a really tough match for this Princeton team. And like you said, bounced back in the match against Yale on Friday night with an errorless match, 25 kills, didn't commit an error on 47 swings. And then here in this one, 19 kills on 49 swings and a